Okay, so bit of a disclaimer before we get into this video. First of all, this was meant to be read live, but I don't have the capacity to stream at the moment, so I'm sorry. This is the essay that I mentioned in this video here. You're probably going to want to watch that for context because, well, this is going to seem pretty weird regardless. And finally, I also apologise for the content of the essay. Grammatically, it's pretty bad. And that's not even mentioning how I make massive sweeping generalizations in some moments. Some of my analysis is just plain wrong, and some of it comes off as a trifle insensitive, so I apologise for that. But let's just have a laugh at the expense of this essay, because this is probably not the part of my project that got me an A.
Hi, me from the future here. I'd just like to interject and say that instead of playing you the full essay, which would be kind of boring, I've selected some of the highlights, the more interesting parts of the essay, if you will, because frankly it won't take 40 minutes to read out.
Anyway, let's get into the reading, shall we?
One thing that's more likely to be prevalent in anime are references to modern Japanese culture. For example, one archetype that frequently appears in a lot of anime is the otaku, essentially the Japanese equivalent of geek. This term originating in the 1980s was used as a description, albeit an initially derogatory one, of an obsessive fan of something. While it could be anything, such as Gunji otaku being fans of military technology and Tetsudo otaku being fans of trains, this term has become a catch-all term for fans of anime, manga, and video games. While it was initially used as an insult, the term has since evolved to become something that anime fans call themselves, even with the ex-Prime Minister of Japan, now serving as Deputy Prime Minister, Aso Taro, calling himself an otaku. Given the association between anime and otaku, many anime feature characters that could be described as otaku. Sometimes these characters are used for comedic effect, in Steins Gate with Daro, or in Lucky Star with Konata. Both of them fit the otaku stereotype, with them spouting anime references, frequently using the internet, as well as commenting over how other characters in their shows are tsunderes, an anime character who is reluctant to admit their feelings towards other characters. Both of them are also open with their perverted natures, with Daro asking one of the other characters to repeat a sexually suggestive line, and Konata having a conversation with her father, who is also an otaku, about what constitutes a lolicon, a Japanese colloquialism for people attracted to underage girls. This shows that anime is able to joke about stereotypes of Japanese people, even if some of them are their target audience. However, not all depictions of otaku are as light-hearted, as Me Me Me, an anime short film directed by Hideaki Anno, who also starred in the live-action sections of Otaku no Video, an OVA which made fun of otaku, contains a more serious depiction of the otaku lifestyle. Me 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 shows a hikikomori, a shut-in, in this case also portrayed as an otaku, who's experiencing a cycle of regret and self-hatred, which is represented by him being clawed to death by a figure resembling his ex-girlfriend and blue-haired anime women. This shows that some anime creators view otaku as an unfortunate side effect of the medium's popularity. Japanese attitudes towards eroticism vary, as while Japanese society is considered to be somewhat conservative, the country is still where many of the world's most explicit yet strange types of erotic content have been produced. In some cases, this conservative attitude is what led to the creation of erotic content that could be seen as bizarre from a Western standpoint. One of the strangest forms of eroticism in Japan is shokushuke, or tentacle porn, which has been depicted in both regular anime as well as hentai, pornographic anime. This could come up for just a single moment, such as in Sword Art Online when there are multiple scenes of girls being molested by monsters with tentacles, or it could be the basis for an entire animation, for example, Urotsuki Doji. One possible stem for this kind of imagery is the Hokusai Ukiyo-e woodblock print called Dream of the Fisherman's Wife, which depicts a nude woman being raped by an octopus, an image which was likely based on the story of Princess Tamatori. However, the reason that it is so prevalent nowadays is down to Japanese censorship laws, as in the 1980s, where many shokushuke works were being produced, it was illegal to depict genitals rubbing together in animated works. This led to creators trying to get around this law by using tentacles in place of male genitalia, and from that point onwards, this practice became a trope. This shows that conservative Japanese attitudes towards erotic depictions in animated media have left an impact on how sex can be portrayed in Japan. However, that is not to say that hentai or even anime are restrained with sexualized content. In many anime, across many genres, there exists the practice of fan service, which is when a character is shown in a sexualized manner. This could be a simple shot of their panties, or panchiri as it is referred to in Japanese, or as explicit as a character being fully naked with barely anything covering the areas that the animators aren't allowed to show on screen. Shower scenes are popular for this, as steam can be drawn to cover a character's sensitive areas. This has been a very popular trend in anime since the 1970s, with Cutie Honey popularising this trend, and some character designs in a lot of anime have been slightly sexualised in order to create more fanservice opportunities. Such methods could include giving female characters revealing costumes, or giving male characters very noticeable muscles. This trope has many fans, as the name would suggest, and has even spawned merchandise. One piece of merchandising that centres around fanservice is a dakimakura, a large pillow designed for hugging that has recently seen success amongst otaku for dakimakura pillowcase designs with risque poses of anime characters on them. Despite their lewd connotations, they have still become a large facet of anime merchandising, with new designs being presented at large events. One such event was being held as a celebration of the anime Konosuba, where to advertise the upcoming Dakimakura pillowcase featuring fan-favourite character Megumin, lead seiyuu Jun Fukushima walked on stage dressed in the aforementioned pillowcase. This shows that anime can sometimes embrace some aspects of Japanese culture which could be seen as vulgar, which shows a laissez-faire attitude towards lewd subject matters. It is worth looking at how other cultures see how anime represents Japanese culture, especially in China, a country with a checkered history with Japan. Despite the anime market in China being worth 21 million USD, larger than the Japanese anime industry's worth, and joint ventures between Japanese and Chinese anime studios such as Flavors of Youth, the memory of Japanese imperialist actions in China has led to a general distrust of Japan and its exports, although some of this should be attributed to the propaganda efforts of the Chinese government, as many other countries in Asia that were occupied by Japan are large consumers of anime. In 2015, the Chinese government issued regulations to various streaming websites, stating that they could only stream foreign media if they were given the express permission from the government. They took this opportunity to ban dozens of anime series, including highly popular ones such as Death Note, Psycho Pass, and Elfen Lied. Other titles have since been added to this list, and some Chinese officials say that anime is a Japanese means of creating anti-Chinese sentiment. This shows that anime is still seen as distinctly Japanese, even by neighbouring Asian countries. Despite the Chinese government's aforementioned hostility towards anime, they still want to find a means of capitalising off this sudden craze amongst the Chinese youth, and the youth wing of the Chinese Communist Party has set up their own account on Bilibili, a Chinese video sharing service centred around animation. Using this account, they have posted a series about the life of Karl Marx, which incorporates the typical Japanese anime art style. This could be a sign that anime may no longer be synonymous with Japan in a matter of years, as other countries are starting to try and make their own quote-unquote anime. Hi, me from the future again. Everything in those last two paragraphs was true, and I'll leave a link to the article where I got that information from in the comments of this video. Anyway, I am so sorry you had to sit through that.